This is Investment Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Daily live streaming interactive featuring Mrs. Backup. Subscribe, hit the notification, smash the likes. Now, here's Backup Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to Investment Perspectives, everybody. I'm Brad Kimes. You are watching this show, and we have a very special guest today, and his name is John. He is the CEO and founding director of 8 Hours Foundation, and he is the founding CEO of Playtable. John, how are you this morning?
Doing awesome. How are you, Brad?
Thanks
for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being here. Look, in this digital asset space, there are amazing things happening with innovation in tech every single day. And what you are doing is absolutely one of those things, or I should say many, because you're a busy guy. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with 8 Hours Foundation, or would you like to start with Playtable? Because we got a lot to unpack today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we can start with 8 Hours Foundation a little bit. We can go to Playtable. I think Playtable is a really cool product, and we can see how it integrates neatly, and then wrap it up with 8 Hours.
I love it. Let's do that. So 8 Hours Foundation, the world's first blockchain-enabled tabletop game console where physical pieces come to life. Our platform offers a mechanism to interact with software features for tangible benefits. Tell me about this, John. This is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So 8 Hours Foundation, really the mission is to bring people together for meaningful social interaction. And it's right in the name, for 8 hours a week. We think that's the proper prescription where you can actually build strong social bonds that last a lifetime. And so really the core of what we're building is a platform for game developers, a platform for collectibles, tool sets, and systems that make it all neatly work together. And this digital collectibles economy we're building, we think that the way to get blockchain and the idea of digital collectibles cemented into the minds of parents and kids and really mass audience is you have to make it super, super simple. And what better way to do that than with toys and figurines, physical objects and cards, right? These things are well understood. So when it comes to the way that our platform works, we actually breathe life into these physical toys like no one's ever seen. There's a linkage using NFC right in the base of this guy, and he's mirrored with a digital collectible. And you can do anything you want with that collectible that you can do with this physical thing, just like in real life. You can play games with it. It remembers your entire history. You can grow it over time, and it's completely yours, right? It's completely customizable and a proper store of value.
I'm blown away by this because it takes interactiveness to another level. When I think of like you holding up that piece, one of the things I think of is like a Dungeons and Dragons similar style, game where you have your characters and their whole profile and all their attributes and everything are stored and kept on this chip and this piece. Is this what we're talking about? This kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. This is like Dungeons and Dragons or Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon really come to life right before your eyes, with all the toys and exactly how kids imagine the play. Exactly, they're doing these battles and stuff. And with Playtable, it's actually how we complement that imagination. We have this Playtable, just real quick. We've got a real physical screen that you can interact with these toys on, and we work with different publishers and partners and brands to really bring them into the blockchain space. We digitize their entire games, and we work with their toy lines to really bring them into the NFT space.
So I have this up for people to look at as you talk about this Playtable. It's remarkable, John. Look at this with the kids playing, an interactive learning tool, and then games for fun. I mean, the dice. Let's talk. All right, there's a lot to unpack here, what you've done. First of all, how long has this been in the making, John?
Probably about 4 years in total, maybe close to 5 now, but I started the company 2 years ago. So it was really kind of an underground project, a hardware project. It didn't have much direction, but 2 years ago, I realized that blockchain is kind of the way to make this happen. And what I mean by that is collectibles, they exist very much so in the physical sense, right? And I'm a big board gamer. I'm a huge nerd. I'm the nerd of the group. So in the Boy Scouts, I was playing board games and Magic the Gathering like all weekend long with my buddies. And the unique thing about these collectibles is you can do whatever you want with them. You can rip them up, you can tear them, you can play them in different games, and some of them are worth thousands of dollars. But nothing like that exists in the physical, in the digital space. You know, the idea of you actually owning the character is completely foreign. You know, in terms of software, like you can always copy and paste the ones and zeros, but there's no idea of scarcity, right? You can never run out.
Right.
And so that's directly what blockchain solves. Is it puts this supply for the collectibles, your games and your tokens that you can now use. And so I really wanted to combine the idea of digital and physical somehow. And I thought board games was a perfect place to start. And you know, my background, I was studying computer engineering at college for a few years. Actually dropped out to pursue this, mostly self-taught, and then found a couple other buddies who were just as passionate with the project as I am.
This is remarkable. And I see, as well as interactive, it's not just toys and pieces. You also have the ability to be interactive with cell phones. So there's an application that also goes along with the Playtable as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So for games like poker, right, everyone's got their own private information. And so we connect with your phone so that you can pass cards between yourself. And this really unlocks a brand new dynamic for gameplay in general. I'm 25 years old, lifelong gamer. I've never found a platform that's specifically suited for having four people like sit around a table and play in a single environment together. Usually, I remember back when the Xbox came out, there was the Halo, right? And I remember LAN parties, packing up my entire computer rig, bringing it to my friend's house. Those game nights were special, but it seems like everyone's kind of forgotten about it. Everyone's going to VR, where we're strapping a screen to our face and isolating ourselves from everyone else.
Yeah.
But I feel like tabletop has a special format that goes somewhere different.
I think you're absolutely on to something huge here. When I see the interactiveness of this and the way it actually brings groups of people together, families more importantly, this gets exciting to me, especially during this particular time period we're in with self-isolation and things like that nature. And I do believe as we come out of this, the world is a different place. And I think you would agree as well. So look, when we look at what you're doing here with the 8-Hour Foundation, the Playtable, the game, you said something about poker. So let's talk about poker. So what about the idea of blockchain and having real money? I mean, can we play for real money in this game, John? What can we do here?
We're working on some tools for settlement. Since we connect with your phone, and each of these different toys that you play with can actually store currency.
Right.
There's this idea of a hardware wallet, right, and connecting directly to that play environment. So, like I was talking about, this platform for play, it's got so many features that people have never been able to play with before. Connected with your phone, it's a large enough screen size that the entire room can see it. Everyone can kind of get their hands in simultaneously. It supports up to 10 multi-touches. And then, of course, you've got the physical piece and detection. So whether it's cards or dice or toys, they all work together. And you can imagine, like, one person has this private information, as you're talking about before, like a D&D campaign. They're setting like their own private buttons. They're revealing the fog of war. They're playing sound effects right when players are playing their toy, and they're telling the story together. I think that's the most important part.
It's pretty remarkable. And now, how many games currently right now are available for Playtable, and how many of those games would you say are interactive with blockchain and the ability to store cryptocurrency or currency of some kind on those pieces?
Oh yeah. So Playtable has been in development for a while, but we're still in the very, very early days.
Okay.
We've just launched products last December to our very first initial batch of pre-order customers, and
Nice.
they're loving it. And when we came out, we only had about a dozen games. it wasn't very much, but
Sure.
the team's doing very hard at work finding other developers and also building these games ourselves. I think we're up to close to 40 games now that we offer on the platform.
Wow.
This is a combination for different board games. This is brand new, arcade combined experiences. And also we're working to connect it to the blockchain layer. A lot of tech has to happen for it to actually be used in games, I feel, because a lot of blockchain tech is really centered around web development, right? You've got a huge infrastructure, you've got Web3, all these chains coming out. It's relatively simple to build a web app, a WebD app. But when you want to build an actual game, people are still working on the tool set layer. And so we're with everyone else, we're working on the SDK, but we take it one step further and we put more of our effort into the actual finished game itself, because we think that, blockchain should be part of the backend. It shouldn't be really visible to the customers. It's not what it's about. It's not about we're using this chain or that. It's about the value you're providing to the customer. And it's about the game experience and making sure that you've got a great product. And so we've got about 2 games right now that have the physical piece interaction and they're being hooked up to blockchain. We're really at the forefront of this, and we want to take every single game in our library and hook it up.
I just think it's amazing. So potentially one day, not too long from now, we could see Monopoly style games, SimCity style games that have the ability to make and earn money. And even in player games where it's like a battle game and you may be able to collect currency and trade up for a larger weapon or something of that nature. Am I on track?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have this weird idea of buying real estate in a way, right? I want to put Playtable in every single living room in America and beyond. And I think that having that dedicated, place in the living room that people come around and enjoy for game nights is really magical. And then when they leave, it still serves a purpose, right? And so these games like Monopoly, SimCity, where everyone's coming in, they're building a story, building something together. You got to realize that, down the block, someone else probably has their play table and doing the exact same thing. And you've got your friend group over here, they've got their family. And it's almost like every play table is like a node in this connected play network. You've got groups of 5 people playing together. Maybe they're battling someone else or interacting with someone else. And so this software platform and the currency, like I absolutely want to unlock that to developers. Absolutely unlock the idea for gamification. How do I earn money from playing these games? How do I actually, store my value in these collectibles? I mean, having even trading card games, like it happens in real life. You'll play a Magic game and you play for keeps, or you'll play poker, you'll play for keeps, you'll play all these different games. And it's like, at the end of the day, who actually owns it? That proof of ownership on the software layer is exactly what blockchain does. And hooking it up to the actual transaction, you play your game, oh, I won, I get to keep the toy, or I get to keep my digital collectible. It really unlocks a lot of stuff.
So you said something I want to go back and touch on, and I felt was pretty important. So you not only have the ability to play within the family, you have the ability to, like the Smith family can play a game and interact with the Jones family 2 houses down. Is that right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's remarkable.
And beyond that, our own app that we're building, right? We're building this connectivity into the games so you can view your poker cards and stuff. But the app is so much more. The app is your portal to scan into your toys and just check in how it's doing. You can feed it through the app. You can message your friends. Like it's a true and proper platform. You can browse all these different games, and this is almost like the way to stay connected. When you're not at home actively playing a game, you can still look at your VIMs that you've collected. You can still play these mobile games, maybe in a unique experience. It's not the true interactive experience with everyone, but it's still a way to actually get into the game and play it when you don't have an hour chunk of time with them.
Sure, absolutely. So what I see as an overview here is that you've found a place of fragmentation where the blockchain innovative world in a digital space can come in and refresh and give a new facelift to a very old industry, which is board games. And I think that's amazing. Talk to me a little more about how blockchain and the integration of blockchain is really going to unlock the ability to bring together this innovation with the old industry? Just touch on that again for me.
Well, I think it's completely disruptive. I think entire businesses are going to have to rethink their model because of this. And let me explain why. Board games itself is a very small industry. It's also very sturdy, right? It's got a great active community. It's been growing very steadily. I mean, the concept of board games has existed for thousands of years since the Egyptians first invented it. Right? Yeah. But where we are today is all these companies like Wizards of the Coast or Pokemon. They're coming out with brand new expansion packs every year. They're coming out with new characters. They're coming out with new ways to play their game. And that's because they have to, in a way, right? Their business model is to sell you cards, is to sell you toys, sell you new stuff every year. They don't have any way to profit off of the existing collectibles market that's already there.
Sure.
But if you think about it, that's a huge and thriving market. If you look at eBay, you look at all these, valuable collectibles, they can go for thousands of dollars. And the main company, the IP holder and the publisher behind that game doesn't see a cent of that revenue, right? If there was a way for them to actually look at the old collectibles that they've already sold and, start to add value there, then it completely disrupts their model. Maybe they'll focus less on creating new content every single year and kind of leaving everyone else behind in the dust. Maybe they'll focus on the people that they've already sold, their existing community, and trying to add more and more value to the brands that they've already created and building that customer loyalty and trust, right?
Wow.
So if in Pokemon, just a brief example, I don't know how many Pokemon exist right now, but the original 150, right, that I grew up with, if I still had my Charizard today that I caught when I was, 10 years old, then I would still like value it much more than maybe another starting Pokemon that they just come out with.
Sure. Absolutely. So let's talk about where you are now versus where you see yourself and the companies in 3 to 5 years. Talk to me about that. Because, you're in high demand right now, by the way. Just to let everybody know, your pre-orders sold out. Is that right?
We are sold out. Yeah, we're on back order for a while.
Wow.
We're going heads down just building product, trying to get out to customers.
Wow.
Not really doing much marketing or sales, but really trying to make sure that our existing customer base has a great experience for the product.
Wow.
And that would serve as a launch pad for all the future growth that we expect. We want to tentpole around this holiday year, this holiday season. We want to come out with a sufficient enough batch of inventory that we can, service demand. But we've been in a back order sold out stage for a while now. So where we are right now is, we've got a limited group of games. We've got the early stages of blockchain tech being developed and the beginnings of this community. It's really awesome. We have hangouts with our Playtable fans, every couple of weeks, and I see the same group of people coming together, asking questions, being involved, just want to hang out with the team. And I think it's really special. And I think the advocates and ambassadors for Playtable will help it spread, right? And that's exactly what we want to do. So in years from now, let's say we'd have millions of Playtables out in the field. We'd have a thriving base of companies that we work with to digitize their IP. All these board game publishers, all the game publishers, they're not necessarily thinking about collectibles or blockchain. They're thinking about the game mechanics, right? They're thinking about the art. They're thinking about how do they partner with a TV show or Game of Thrones or something.
Sure.
But there's so much value in making sure that when they create art, it's collectible, right? It's turned into a collectible so that the communities can buy and purchase and really bring as part of their game portfolio. So I want to have millions of Playtables out. I want to have hundreds of millions of users playing on the Playtable and actually participating in our collectibles ecosystem. Nice. Playing games and adding value and leveling up their toys, leveling up their digital stuff. And I also want to have we're going to have this software platform out where you have a mobile app, right? And that's kind of tracked with your entire inventory of VIMs. And it can be scanned to Playtable. So
that's wonderful. So as the founding director of 8 Hour Foundation and the founding CEO of Playtable, what are your objectives from that particular standpoint? I know what you want to see the long-term success of the company, but where are you at right now? Do you want to see a distributor brought in? Do you already have a distributor connection already handled? Are you looking for? Because look, you never know who's watching these interviews and these videos, and we have a wide audience of a lot of different people. So if you have an order that a list you're looking to satisfy as a CEO of both entities here, I want to see you ask that here today. Are you looking for more funding, more investors, more distribution? You tell me.
Absolutely. So right now we've got a handful of IP that we're working with, but we're always on the lookout for more. We're on the lookout for more communities who have a tight-knit brand or a tight-knit game. We're looking for developers always. We're looking for, and maybe some people want to join the team. We've been hiring lately, so we're in a period of growth. We're kind of going heads down to build out this product. And we're also looking for distributors. So right now we're in a few channels. We've got this pre-sales and stuff, but to really forecast for this holiday year, we want to be able to, get purchase orders, get letters of intent for inventory where people are buying couple thousand playtables at a time to put in their stores. And it doesn't have to be a couple thousand. I think that mom and pop board game shops are going to be buying a few dozen of these, and that's great. I think that that's equally as important node in the community and the network that we're building.
Absolutely.
Because this is all real estate, right? This is all physical real estate that people can come to and enjoy the play experience.
John, I think what you're doing is absolutely wonderful, and it seems to be from the first response to sales that everybody else thinks it too, because you're already on back order at this point. So, John, anything else you want to touch on before we wrap here? Because this is pretty remarkable stuff you're doing.
I think that, well, for 8 Hours Foundation, right, there's two important concepts right here. There's a collectible that we're calling a VIM, and there's the actual token, the 8 Hours token. That's abbreviated as ERTS. And both of these are coming and supporting Playtable. Playtable is the first blockchain-enabled platform from the ground up, right? We're building this all the way from the hardware layer to the top. And I think that's a fundamental strategy difference in a bunch of other players in the industry, right? It really gives you a lot more flexibility when it comes to creating content, creating games, and making sure that your users are satisfied.
Sure.
And also making sure that when users create an account, they have an entire plethora of apps to service them and service that need. Basically, propping up your collectibles, and we're building out the software that you can view it, you can buy it straight from us, you can trade it on these markets, you can play games with them. And I think that these four pillars are utterly important for the spread of digital collectibles in general.
Absolutely. So to be perfectly clear here, so you can get the 8 Hours token within the game, obviously, but can you also get it on, will it be on exchanges as well for people?
Yeah, we're going to be on the BitTrue exchange in a couple days now. And that will be the first place that you can get the 8 Hours token outside of our initial offering. And as the Playtable grows, you can use it, you can buy it. You can use it to buy the games in there. But we're getting listed, and we'll be having a bunch of feature news that we want to share.
This is pretty remarkable stuff, John. I mean, you're going to be on an exchange, and people will have the ability to participate and invest in the 8 Hour token for the gaming system that you've developed here. When exactly, do you know when exactly it launches on the exchange?
Yeah, we're coming out on the 20th, May 20th.
And what's the total supply of the 8 Hours token?
So there's 10 billion 8 Hours token in total.
Okay.
And that's just the finance supply that will always exist.
Okay.
We've got allocations for private investors. We've got allocations for developers. But really, I think that this is an opportunity where people can get the token so that they can play our games.
Absolutely.
Right? We've got web apps coming out. We've got mobile apps coming out. And in order to get your VIMs and make sure that they're sufficiently grown, when you're actually playing the games, you have to feed it ERTs every day.
Right.
So we've got this ranking system. When you get a VIM, it actually starts at F tier. And as you play, as you check in every day and you feed it ERTs, it grows to D, B, A, and finally to S. And S is kind of the echelon of VIMs. It unlocks a bunch of stuff. It unlocks discounts. It's some of the ways that our partners can really seed the content. So if you want to, take place in this system of starting to upgrade your VIMs in preparation for all the games that come, you definitely need to get ERTs.
That's pretty wonderful. John, I got to tell you, I mean, in a world where blockchain and digital assets are changing the landscape, it is the next revolution. It really is. And you are a part of it. I think you have found a huge fragmentation where we can bring old style industry products and give them a new facelift. And I think you are going to be the benefactor of all of that. John, you're amazing. I want to thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I think it's also the community. I think the community equally helps build out this platform, this vision, and the community is also equally the benefactor.
Build it and they will come.
Such amazing content for everyone.
Absolutely. Build it and they will come, right, John?
That's correct.
Absolutely. I mean, it's amazing. This is a great, I just want to thank you for being here, John. You're doing great things. One thing I would like to ask that you come back on the show and let us know how things are going a little ways down the road, and let's get an update from you, because I got a feeling there's going to be some really great stuff happening here.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
John, thank you so much for being with us today, and I will talk to you next time. Take care, my friend.
All right. Thank you so much, Brad.
All right. Take care.